Hi, I'm Graham from Second Era of Moles, and if you clicked on this video accidentally, 90 seconds is all I ever ask. Welcome back to another week that was on Pokemon Masters X. What have we had this week? We've had the Champions Stadium again, we've had the Beachside Rivalry events going on, we've had the Summer Superstar contest begin. There's probably some that I'm forgetting, but let's jump straight into the Champions Stadium. Join me, why don't you? I looked at the 4 weaknesses this week and then the 5th one for Alder, and I thought, right, fire, water, electric, rock, fairy. That's where I live. Those are my good ones. So this week is going to be a breeze. So I went into round 1 with a team of Hal, Volkner and Misty to start off with. I was reasonably successful, but I didn't really like it, so I went back and I did it again. And the team that I'm recommending is Volkner, Hilbert and Zebstreaker. And the reason I'm changing it is because it worked reasonably well the first time round, but I was relying quite a lot on Misty for evasion and then self-healing and also Ridicule for when something missed. It was a lot better when I went in there with Zebstreaker and Hilbert. Elisa and Zebstreaker, they really benefit from having Hilbert with them, so being able to boost attack and speed and crit hit rate really helps her. That 6x support boost also does her really well as well. So I chose to take on Caitlin for round 1, and your condition is a move gauge boost, so it refills more quickly. And so you start off raising all of the stats with Hilbert. You can maybe raise some attack a little bit with Zebstreaker, but otherwise you're using Spark. Volkner is trying to get some flinching on Sigilyph in the middle with Thunderfang. Don't really bother trying to flinch the sides, you don't gain that much from it. Make some sparks if there's not enough move bar. I would save electric terrain for after the first sync move, because you're not going to get as much out of it if you do it before. So Hilbert gets that first sync for the 6x boost, then you're going with Elisa as your main striker. She gets the syncs after that. As I said, Volkner sets electric terrain so that you get that attack boost. If you're very clever, you can try using Electrify to try and guarantee that crit hit when you go for your sync move, but it should do a decent amount of damage when it comes. After Sigilyph has gone down, the two sides, they don't do too much damage, so the Frillish is going to use Icy Wind. I'm not sure what the other one uses, I can't remember because I flinched it out. Volkner's flinch really comes in useful after the middle has fainted, because you can flinch one out and then focus down the other, or you can flinch one out and just try and time it to keep both of them flinching and just getting that damage and running them down as quickly as possible. And then on to round 2, I chose to take on Shauntal because she was weak to water types this week. The condition is a sync move countdown reduction. I tried going in there with a team of Archie, Palkia and then some support. I was like, yeah, let's just go all out, go all in. And then Shauntal's sync move came around and it wiped out my entire team. And at that point I was thinking, oh, blimmin' heck, this week is really going to be a slog. So I then collected myself, I went back to basics and I was like, who do I go to when I need a water striker? It's Barry. Shauntal's going to try and use Sunny Day, so I need to change the weather. I go with May to set rain. They're going to be using special attacks, so I used Liza and Lunatone as my support because they got special attack boosts. And so Barry's going to hit hard with his sync move, Bubble's going to do a significant amount of damage, Muddy Water's also going to help you out as well. Liza may get burned, but she's not really attacking, she's using trainer moves. And it took a couple of sync moves and Bubbles and Muddy Waters to take out the enemy. Because I have Barry at 6x and both Bubble and Muddy Water hit everyone, the sides aren't going to be too much of an issue. But you've got plenty of tools in your bag of tricks, so you have full heal. If someone does get burned with Barry, you've got a weather change, you've got move gauge boost with May's trainer moves, you've got stats boost with Liza's trainer moves. So you should have enough in there to bring her down. On to round 3, and this is where the momentum started to pick up. There was a physical attack reduction. If you've got a fighting type, I always try and use this one there because they tend to mainly use physical attacks. And my team was a triple support. I always like it when that happens. So you've got Xerneas and the Professor, you've got Lily and Clefable in there, and I went with Jasmine and Steelix as well. So Jasmine can raise everyone's special defense. She's also got Clang for the crit hit protection, protection from stats reduction, and move gauge refresh. Lily she's got full power and X accuracy, so trainer moves always useful if the bar isn't refilling all that quickly. I was mostly using her for Dazzling Gleam. She has a grid node where you can make it work similarly to Mew's Swift, so it lowers the enemy's stats. And then of course you've got Xerneas in the middle doing either Horn Leech or Moonblast. I had him targeted third, so Horn Leech wasn't as much of a priority. So the first sync move I gave to Xerneas to get those stats boost, and then the rest of them were mainly going to Jasmine because she gets both healing and a move gauge refresh when she uses her sync move. It's going to take a little while to build up the damage that you're doing with Moonbeam and Horn Leech, but when you get there it's absolutely devastating, so they don't really stand a chance. And there's plenty of healing in this team. I got a refresh from the World is Vast, which is always good, but I didn't really need it because everyone was topped up enough and it hadn't expired, so just keep going with the damage. The final member of the Elite Four that was left was Grimsley. The condition here was a special attack boost. Grimsley was weak to fire this week, so I went for the standard Charizard Sun setup. Bit of a tongue twister there. So that means you have Charizard as your main striker. You can use either Charizard if you've got Leon and Red. You've got Blaine and Rapidash in there to set Sunny Day. I took in Skyla as my support here because you've always got to have a Skyla with you. And it's pretty self-explanatory what you're doing here. You're raising Charizard's stats, you're doing Trap and Sunny Day with Blaine, you're using Take Flight and then Gust and Potions with Skyla. Skyla gets the first sync for that 6x boost. You shouldn't need to worry too much about getting in for that second sync move because Charizard has propulsion that should kick in while your blast burning, and then that burn it all down sync move comes in and that should just finish everyone off. And so the champion this week goes back to Alder. The condition is a physical attack boost. I chose the condition of a sync move countdown as well. I'm going to do something a little bit naughty here because my team when I completed it was Olivia, Kukui and Hilbert, but Hilbert does work a lot better in that first team. So I would bring in Skyla for that speed boost because Lycanroc has inertia, and that means you need to shuffle another support into your round 4 team. But it shouldn't be too difficult to move those around. But Olivia really is the star here. If you have a 6x support, they'll sync first, and that just builds the anticipation for when Olivia's sync move is going to come and drop a ginormous rock on everyone, and does a huge amount of damage. I managed to get a screenshot this week. Hopefully I'll put it on this side. Oh, it was glorious. You've got Kukui and his Lycanroc in there to use Leer to lower everyone's defense, and then Accelerock maybe to get some flinches in there and get ahead of the game a little bit. I would recommend doing a Stone Edge at each side just to bring their health down a little bit more, and that should guarantee that your sync move when it comes is going to be a knockout. I hope that didn't break the microphone. And that's another 7,500 point run. I apologise for the messing around with Hilbert there, but hopefully you're able to overcome that as I did. You get your Hall of Fame. We're still in Unova for next week's Champion Stadium, so hopefully we'll be right on track for another 7,500 points there as well. So we've still got the Beachside Rivalry events going on. I said last week I was going to go into the battle challenge for that, but it's not all that challenging to do. So I think I just went with the 3 pairs I've been using all along. So Misty, Barry. I think I subbed out Valerie for Skyla because she's an amazing woman. Got to have strong, powerful women in our lives. And you just approach it as you would any other battle. Barry is your sinker. Skyla maybe sinks first for that 6x boost, but lots of damage going on there. Misty has healing, Skyla has healing, so she should be able to keep everyone topped up and have only one of them sink and get that medal. The challenge comes from the regional one, which is Galar. I only have 3 Galar pairs and they're all strikers, so it's a little bit difficult, and I know a lot of people won't have them, so I'm not really going to go into that too much, but mainly it's Leon as your damage dealer and the other 2 are just in there trying to take as many hits as possible so that Leon can do inferno and cause a huge amount of damage. The problem is that there are very few Galarian pairs in the general pool. A lot of them have been seasonal and you've really got to be focused in going after them, so it's quite unfortunate. You've probably discovered by now that you get bonus battles at random for more rewards. They're always very useful because one move should take out all 3 of them. They're all water type starters, but it doesn't matter because they're all really low levels. I won't be spending too much time beyond the daily battle on these ones now because the drop rate to get those 3-star tickets isn't all that good, and the other event has better rewards. So the Summer Superstars is the event that's landed this week. It's a repeat of last year's event, so if you've done the story before, you can either remind yourself and rerun it, or you can skip over it. It brings back Summer Steven and Summer Lyra. If you're missing a serious ice striker, then you could maybe invest in Steven. Kurim though does the job reasonably well, so it's not a priority if you already have him. It's another map event which we haven't had for a while. The reason I'm going after this one so hard is because they have the Ultra Drinks Plus. I'm running low on them, I don't have that many, so I'm trying to hoover them up where I can. I've got a lot of the next tier up, but I need them for unlocking level caps, so I'm going after that one at the moment. Someone on Reddit posted that you get a slightly better drop rate on round 3 than on round 4, so just because it takes 20 stamina doesn't mean it's necessarily better to do. The one with 15 in the long run will get you slightly more tickets. We've got another full force battle for this one. There are 2 conditions for this one, so 3 Hoenn pairs and 3 Johto pairs. I didn't quite see the 3 Johto pairs until it was too late, so I don't have a strategy for that, but the 3 Hoenn pairs I used were May and Swampert, Wallace and Milotic, and Phoebe and Dusk Noir. So Phoebe's in there to raise crit hit rate, and she's got vigilance as well. May is your main striker, she sets rain. Wallace does trap. He can also do attention over here and have endurance if your Dusk Noir is getting too low on health. But it takes a few turns to get into it, but Swampert really starts hitting hard towards the end. I was able to get into the 3rd round of it before my team fainted. They all had like that much health left and they took a sync move, which was good because it meant that my next team in didn't have to immediately face a sync move. They could have a bit of a go before then. But yeah, the final Rosa raid was at like 2/3, maybe half health, so it was just a clean-up job. And the cleanup was done admirably. Salute the Admiral. The cleanup was done admirably by Getsis and Kurim, as I said, Ice type striker with Glaciate, Swanna and Skyla was the tank, healer, general awesomeness, and then Rosa and Superior goes very well with Kyurem as well because it can raise special attack and move gauge boost, which is good when you've got that 4-bar move. And I don't think I needed to sync with Kyurem. I think I did Skyla and I did Swanna for the 2 6x boosters, and then Glaciate kept rolling and rolling, and I wasn't really threatened in this one. Final point before I sign off is that we're down to the last few days of the Solgaleo event and of the Rock Egg event. So if you don't have your rewards for those ones, do it now, because you won't get a chance before next week's video comes out. But that's an issue for the week that will be. Thank you very much for joining me for the week that was. If you have any tips that you'd like to share with everyone, I'll try and read them out next week. But you are past the 90-second mark at this point, so well done and congratulations. You might as well subscribe to the channel so that you can follow the Pokemon Masters playlist. You can follow me on Twitter as well, where I generally share on there too. But please join me next week for the week that will be. But thank you very much for watching this one, and goodbye.